Richard Johnson, thank you so much for joining us on the Friday Club. Richard, obviously it's a very exciting time because the season is really hitting fever pitch now, and we're getting to the point where people are about to enter the Tote 10 to Follow competition, and you have selected, I'm delighted to say, 10 horses to go in to represent Team Richard Johnson. So can we go through them, starting one by one? And I've got my pen ready. First of all, let me just ask how you are, actually.
Yeah, no, very good, thank you. Like you say, I think we've all had a strange summer or spring summer, and it's nice to get into a bit more normality for me with racing getting going, and obviously the nice horses starting to run. But obviously it's still a great shame that people can't come racing, and the owners are obviously at a very minimal level. So it's still a weird time for everybody, but I'm just thankful that racing is continuing, and hopefully there's lots to look forward to over the winter with some exciting horses.
Well, I look forward to hearing the 10 horses that you're particularly excited about seeing. So why don't we start off with number one on your list of 10 to follow?
Yeah, well, I think, not surprisingly, I think Defi de Soy, he's obviously stable star down at Philip Hobbs's, and I scored him the other day, and he's in very, very good form, and obviously with Barry hanging up his boots at the end of last season, I'm lucky enough to be able to get to ride him, and look at just he's been a fantastic horse for 3 or 4 years now, and obviously he had a blip in the champion chase last year, but
any idea what happened there?
No, I don't, and I think even Philip and the whole team were scratching their heads because all the horses just didn't really fire at Cheltenham last year, and unfortunately, he was the one we thought had the best chance. And the way when there was a couple of defections early on the Wednesday morning, it looked like his race to sort of have, and unfortunately, it just didn't happen. But he's in very, very good form, and like I say, fingers crossed, he runs on Sunday at Cheltenham, I think, in the Slur Chase. So that's a great starting place where he did last year, and hopefully, goes there with a great chance and you start off the season well.
So the plan would be, I imagine, Schlur, Tingle Creek, possibly Game Spirit, and then Champion Chase. Would that be how he would go, do you think?
Maybe. I think Sunday is obviously the first key sort of
fingers crossed.
Race, and then between the Manases and Philip, they'll make the sort of plans. But he's just that they're the horses you really look forward to, and I think everyone's excited to see him run again.
Okay, so no surprises with selection 1.
Yeah.
What about selection 2?
Probably no surprises here either, really. Tyne Hill again, ran well at the Cheltenham Festival last year. Was 4th in the Albert Bartlett. We got in a bit of a scrummage going to the last, and he's not the biggest horse in the world, and he probably lost out a little bit. But again, still ran a really good race. One of the top novices from last year. The moment, I think that the plan is to go sort of stairs hurdle route. He has scored over fences, but we thought that he's only had 4 runs over hurdles, so he's going to start off, I think, in Newbury in the long distance hurdle there, and we'll know more about him from after that, really. But again, he's in really good form at home. I've sat on him a few times. He's in very, very good form himself. So again, no surprises, but he's obviously another one that I can't wait to get back on again.
He's strengthened up a little bit over the summer.
Yeah, he's quite a strong, compact horse anyway. But I think he's just matured a little bit more as well. And again, these horses, these proper national hunt bred horses, they do sort of, I think they improve over time. And Defi de Soy is probably slightly different. He's come from France, and he was obviously very precocious, and won the Triumph and did all that. Where Tyne Hill is definitely, he's one that I'm hoping he's still improving and hasn't reached his best yet.
Okay, 2 selections, no surprises. Defi de Soy, Tyne Hill. Next.
Sporting John, again, horse that was a very smart novice hurdler last year for Mr. McManus and the Hobbses. And again, I actually rode him yesterday, and he travelled and jumped fantastic through the race. We were a little bit disappointed after sort of going after 4 out. He didn't pick up better, but I still think he's it's obviously his first run of the season, and he's obviously a very, very talented horse. And for me, even you could see even yesterday the way he jumped. He's definitely a chaser in the making, and I think he would be a better chaser than he was a hurdler. So that puts him at a very high level. So again, he's a horse I think you'll see a lot of in the top novice chasers.
Yeah, without wanting to jinx anything, the way he jumped through the majority of that race was really professional for a first go over fences. Had he done that in his schooling?
Yeah, he's literally been, you almost don't tempt fate because he's been so good at home. You just wanted to get him there yesterday, and presume he did the same thing, but he did. He was very, very good. And look, again, it's his first from the season, and all the Phillips horses will always improve from their first run. So, and again, he was running against two other very smart horses. Fiddler on the Roof, obviously, he'd had a run as well at Foss Last. So again, if it had been a run-of-the-mill novice chase, he might well have been able to pick it up and just improve the run, and we would have never even been a bit disappointed. But hopefully we can put that behind him next time.
All right, fingers crossed. Who's next on the list?
Unfortunately, well, this isn't one of Philip Hobbs's. I love it. He had a stable move, but Shiskin, I thought he was, he was very, very good last year. He looked very professional. I know Nico de Bonville thinks the world of him. Obviously, he looks very, very smart, and I think they've said he's going to go novice chasing, I think. So I thought, it's going to take a very, very smart one to beat him, and I presume they're obviously going to take the sort of similar route as Altior did. But Nicky Henson's, he's obviously in a very good home there, and he's going to have all the schooling he needs, and he has to be at the moment the novice chaser everybody wants to ride.
It's amazing the buzz that I've heard on the racecourse about this horse's schooling already. It's got out. People are talking about what he might be able to do and whose footsteps he might follow. And you've mentioned obviously Altior, and obviously people will know about Sprinter. I mean, have you heard any buzz about him?
I asked Nico the other day, and he just said, "Look, he's in great order." And do you mean, when you've got, it's like myself, when you've got a nice horse like that to ride, they give you you definitely get a buzz out of it. And I know of the last probably 4 or 6 weeks, we've all been schooling the winter horses ready to get going now. And you sit on the likes of Defi de Soy or Tyne Hill or Shiskin. I think you just get a real a feeling off them. They just find things easier than normal horses, and that obviously that gives you an amazing feeling. And I'm sure Nico, that's what he's waiting for.
Okay, exciting. So that's your star 2 mile novice chaser. Who's next on the list?
Gone to Ireland now. Envoy Allen again sounds it's very boring because I think in the top 10 to follow you're looking for the horses that are going to obviously win races, but obviously win those top races to get your extra points. And I think Envoy Allen, he's very similar to Shiskin. Obviously he was very impressive at Cheltenham last year, and the way he jumped around Dan Royal again, that had been the talk that he could do it and he would do it well, but again I thought he was foot perfect around there with his jumping, and he's got the engine inside him. I know he didn't beat any world beaters that day, but just the way he did it was, if you couldn't be impressed by that, I'm not sure what you want.
Yeah, well, he was brilliant and remains unbeaten, so he's an understandable selection. He's number 5. Who's number 6 on the list?
It's all written down now. Again, I couldn't have this list without having Native River in it. And obviously, look, he's been a star for me, and I'm sure the Tizzards, they'll be aiming at one of the big races in the spring. Obviously, the Grand National was mentioned last year at the start of the season, and I know it's where Colin, he looks the ideal horse for that type of race with his jumping and how he stays. But obviously, the Gold Cup is I'm sure going to still be an option and probably an entry for him. I presume we're not going to see lots of him. Obviously, he's getting a bit more fragile these days. But when he turns up, he's an absolute star. When I rode him in entry last year, I really felt he was back to, he's sort of near his best again. And then obviously, unfortunately, I couldn't ride him in Newbury when he won the Denman again. But he again, John Joe Jr. He was, he was thrilled to ride him and said he felt great. So again, fingers crossed he stays in one piece. That's obviously a little bit of but yeah, fingers crossed he's got a great, wherever he runs in, he will run very well. And I would feel bad not putting him in my 10 horses to follow.
Loyalty. Nothing wrong with loyalty, Richard. Who's next on the list?
Back to Ireland again. Allaho, the horse of William Mullins. I know they thought a lot of him last year, and I thought again, sort of in the Untitled Chapter, you want horses on both sides of the sea, and I think he's a horse that William Mullins will, plot out through the season, and from sort of Christmas time onwards, he could win some very big prizes. So I know he ran well at Cheltenham. Obviously, didn't probably get up the hill quite as well as you'd have hoped, but another year on, that could improve in March. And again, I think Willie will, he'll plot him out to win plenty of points.
No doubt. Okay, so another chaser, Allaho. Who's next on the list for you?
Another horse of Gordon Elliott's, Abracadabras, obviously a horse that ran in Downroy as well, and again, did get beaten, and I think they were obviously disappointed. But again, I think these horses, I'm sure, whether it's William Mullins or Gordon Elliott or Philip Hobbs or Nicky Henson, you always want your horses to improve, and they've all these types of horses have got March in mind, or is the big spring festivals. So I think it was a horse that they loved last year, and I just felt that for Gordon to start him off in that hurdle, that's where he's obviously plotted some very good ones before, and I think again through the winter he'll be winning lots of points, and he's definitely a horse that will win lots and lots of races.
Agreed. He's going to be a big player, despite the fact he got beaten first time up. So we've only got two more left to go. Penultimate choice on the 10 to follow list.
Yeah, it's Thomas Darby. Again, a horse that I've had lots of success on before. I thought his run in Ascot last year at Christmas was a tremendous effort under top weight. And again, he came back this year at Aintree. He had a run the other day, but they're again. I hope it doesn't affect Tyne Hill, but they're looking towards the stairs hurdle route with him. I'm not quite sure where he runs next, but again, he's a horse I sat on probably 6-8 weeks ago now, and I thought he'd really improved and developed again physically. And again, he's always been a bit of a frame, so I thought that there was definite room for more improvement. He's already got a rating 157, so that doesn't put him far off those top class staying hurdlers. So if he does improve, which hopefully him and Tyne Hill can stay apart from each other for as long as possible. But I think he's a horse that will definitely hold high regard in the staying hurdle bracket this season. Okay,
Thomas Darby. Then one more left for the Richard Johnson 10 to follow. Who's going in?
Well, it's a bit of an outsider and a bit of a. I got a bit of abuse about the other day, but. Everglow, horse of Philip Hobbs's, is a novice hurdler.
Yeah.
He had two very good runs last year in bumpers, in two very decent bumpers. One was at Cheltenham at the November meeting, and I really thought that he's going to be a really smart horse for going on in the future. Yeah. He's had two runs so far this year and has slightly underwhelmed really, but I think again he's a very raw backward horse, and I just think that in a weird way, hopefully him not winning so far has kept that waiting for once Saturday starts, and you can win points on the top 10 to follow. He'll be a horse that actually really gets going. And look, whether he's a graded horse over hurdles or whether he ends up being a handicapper, obviously we don't know. But I do think he's a very nice horse, and like I say, I think there's a lot more to come from him. And he is a raw national horse, but he's a horse that I think we'll have an awful lot of fun with, and like you say, he's a certain horse to win over hurdles.
Brilliant. It's great to have a little bit of a left field suggestion. So thank you. So Defi de Searle, Tyne Hill, Sporting John, Shiskin, Envoy Allen, Native River, Allaho, Abracadabras, Thomas Darby, Everglow, your 10 to follow for the 2020-2021 National Hunt season. Just want to ask you a couple of little questions. Obviously, we haven't had a chance because of what happened earlier in the year with COVID and everything coming to a conclusion. Obviously, Brian Hughes won the championship and you played second fiddle. Just a little bit about, how that ended for you, how the season ended, and perhaps a little bit of insight on what it was like to lose out in the championship this year, if you don't mind.
Okay, it was disappointing. Things last year well, they're going quite nicely, and then obviously I broke my arm, which it was always going to be close between myself and Brian, but breaking my arm was not in the script, and obviously it was great to get back and get going again. It would have been a very hard thing to sort of bridge that 20 winner gap, but it was something we were going to give a good go to, and then obviously things got stopped. So it was very disappointing to lose it after managing to win it for the last 4 years. But I'd had a lot of practice at playing second fiddle before then. So it's something I'm very, very lucky to have lots of nice horses to ride. I ride plenty of winners, so I can't be too downbeat about it. But that would definitely be the main ambition for this year, to try and regain it. But again, this year it's obviously sort of, we missed out on the first few months of the season because of COVID, and then it's all got going, and it's been amazingly competitive. And I think we all, you can see this, even if it's a novice chase or a handicap hurdle, there's, double digit fields, every day at every meeting, races being split everywhere. So it's great to see there's lots of horses to run, but it's very, very competitive and hard to ride winners. So we've got a lot of work to do. And look, like we said, with some really nice horses to ride, though, it's really exciting time ahead, and looking forward to the next few busy months.
Yeah, you've answered the final question I had, really, which is the desire to come back and win it again, because there is a school of thought that people may say, well, he's won it so many times and he lost out here, and people obviously know age comes into the equation and think, is the desire still there? But I'm guessing from the look on your face and the look in your eye that it burns as brightly as it's ever done.
Yeah, I can't quite. People keep saying to you, what makes you so keen, or wanting to go everywhere. But I generally, that I don't know if it's a thrill or a buzz or that feeling when you ride a winner. And it honestly doesn't matter whether it's at Taunton this afternoon or at Cheltenham at the Gold Cup meeting. Obviously, you want to ride the really big winners and the good horses, but for me, every race counts. It's something I really enjoy. And look, it's something that I generally, growing up when I was a child, it was a dream to be a jockey. So, I'm sort of living my dream, and I want to make the most of it as long as I can.
I like that, Richard. That I think that should be on all your sponsored vehicles, etc. Every race counts. It's how you've conducted your career, and it's why I think people have appreciated your talents in the saddle for such a long time. Richard, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for the 10 to follow, and also thank you for including a bit of a left field suggestion in Everglow. If it comes down to it, Everglow is the reason why you win, and you get a lovely case of wine for this, then I think you'll be happy. So thanks so much, Richard. Good luck, and look forward to catching up with you again.
Pleasure. Thanks so much. Have a good time. Thanks.
Thank you.